Hi everybody, Real Life Kevin here. Sky Striker cards have been released in Duelist'S Advance, so that means new deck list. At least a testing one, right? Also featuring, I guess, tiny Miku foot right there for all you connoisseurs, right? Shout out Miku, Ramen Topper, great. Miku, Ray, same thing. But in this deck list, I'm going to go over what I'm playing for the foreseeable future until Camilia eventually, hopefully, comes out. But for now, this is pretty much against whatever little research I've done for the meta, because keep in mind, I've been busy with life, so I've only done very little research on what the actual meta is for TCG at least. Right now, I believe is Yugioh, right? Yugioh Tcg, Malice, right? Malice is still a thing, and I don't know what other decks are out there at the moment, but just from very rudimentary research. But anyways, let's get into the deck profile right now. So of course we first start off with monsters. Here's 3 Ray. Always play 3 Ray. Don't be a meme lord. Anyone who says you play less than 3, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Of course, you're playing some kind of meme build, then yeah, I get it. But if you're gonna play pure striker, which is the way it should be, you know, pure striker, then you always play 3 Ray. Remember, no Ray, no play. That's why I always say I'm not a rapper. Also, very shiny Rays. Very cool. It's actually kind of distracting, to be honest, looking at, oh my god, blind your opponent, how incredible pretty it is. That was great. 1 Rose. Rosie O'Donnell, which is now more relevant because of the new Sky Striker support, which I'll explain later. But 1 Rose, I thought about upping it to 2, but compared to everything else and what I'm playing in my deck, I think 1 is more than enough because we play 1 Cyanos, who technically is sort of a starter-ish, right? Because although she's not a Sky Striker ace, which you need for the new card, she's still able to like facilitate certain things. For example, if your Rosie O'Donnell gets like banished, right, you're kind of like screwed, I guess. You won't get the secondary effect of the Sky Striker ace, if I remember correctly. So Cyanos could technically bring it back, right? It's also kind of good bait. You can send stuff off with it with Forbidden Droplet, right, which we'll play in the deck. Spoilers. We play 1 half to out untargetable boss monster things. When I was pulling through the Duelist'S Advance booster boxes, booster packs, I also saw there was like Lunalight support, and I think it was like untargetable, blah blah. We don't want to deal with that, so we'll just get rid of it. So that's it for Sky Striker stuff. Normal hand traps, right? This is kind of whatever you want, to be honest. I always just consistently play 3 Ash because everybody searches. Maybe it's good enough for certain games when like you're down to like the wire in the mid game level. Like 1 no searching can be good, right? By that logic, we'll play 3 Ghost Spell to say no to graveyard shenanigans. But again, 3 Ash and 2 Bell, and probably the Hamp, and even Cyanos you can probably take out and put whatever you want. But that's what I'm playing for now. I know there's stuff like, you know, the Perulia blah 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 cards, which I do have, but I don't think it's worth main decking. I'd rather be consistently able to play than just hand trap and then hope for the best, right? So that's monster. That's all we got. That's all we got. Next is the spells gang. Of course, 3 engage. These are non-negotiables. Always 3 engage. Arguably the best card in the deck. Widow Anchor technically is the best card in the deck, in my opinion. But engage, of course, searches things. We all know what it does. By that logic, 3 Widow Anchor makes deck building easy, right? 3 ofs. 3 Linkage now. Linkage is so good because it gets out the new Sky Striker ace without having to have 2 bodies on board. You kind of cheat it out, and in effect, it kind of acts sort of as another interaction against your opponent, right? Because you can send off this, summon a new Sky Striker ace monster, be able to like bop something, whatever. Then we play 2 Lemons Gate. Lemons Gate's a new card. What does it do? What does it do? Target an equal number of Sky Striker ace monsters and Sky Striker spells in your graveyard, shuffle to the deck. Then every 3, count them 3, 1, 2, 3 cards, you can return up to 1 card in field to the hand, right? So that's the first effect. Essentially, you're always going to be at least 4, right? Because it has to equal the amount of cards to each other, like 2 monster, 2 spells, for example. So it's always going to be a minimum of 4. Keep that in mind. And then the secondary effect is that you can banish it, right? And then be able to link summon a Sky Striker ace link monster. So that's pretty good. It works in conjunction with the new Sky Striker ace, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But this card is very good. Is this something Sky Striker needed? Yeah, sure, yeah. There's more interaction. more interaction means more good for control decks like Skyjacker. So I only play 2. I think most people always play 2. You could probably get away with playing 1, but with the recycling effect and stuff like that, you don't want to waste like your red ray on this, right? You want to be able to search, get the draw +1, blah blah blah. So 2, very good card. And then the 1-ups, right? I'm just thinking of like what would I play if I just had to go against anything, right? Ego Boosties, protect your ray, self-explanatory. Era 0, because now you can potentially search into Linkage. Linkage is technically a more consistency card, right? This is either at 1 or 0, or I know sometimes you play 2 of this and then like put in Terraforming, put in Chicken Game. I don't have Chicken Game, so I just choose to play this as 1. You can probably cut this. And the other self-explanatory, multi-roll, set up your long game. 1 afterburners. Now because we would rather go first to set up interactions, we don't need the second afterburners anymore. 1 shark cannon. I think 1 is more than enough because play Ghost Bell, right? And then 1 horny drones, right? Because horny drones technically is a 1 card. Skyjacker A0. Be able to, you have to waste a red ray, but not really wasting the red ray because then you're gonna search Lemon's Gate. Lemon Gate be blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So play 1 horny drones. It's good. And then the other non-striker stuff, right? Upstart. Consistency is key. Danklet, so you can target non-target, negate something. Always good, especially if you go first. Thrust, give them the thrust. We're down to 2. I used to play 3, but I think the only hand traps you're probably scared of anyways is like Droll and Lockbird. But then you can't really activate Droll and Lockbird anyways, right? Because then you're kind of screwed because you can't search anymore. And I believe you can still activate the secondary effect to set instead, because technically it's not adding the hand, right? So I guess you could do that, but I don't remember the ruling. I believe it's a no because it has to resolve the first effect, right? To be able to add. Or if your opponent controls monsters, you can add it to your hand instead. Oh, actually, never mind. You can. Never mind. I don't think you can activate the second effect. But you can. It's kind of like the Scratch Checker card, where like the secondary effect, the first effect has to be able to resolve in order the second effect to happen, right? So kind of like that, I guess. Let me know. The 1 talent, right? Search off of this, and then finally the 1-ups, right? Rhoda, Call by the Grave, 1 desires. I know I always say desires, just YOLO it. Don't worry about it. This should be either at 3, 1, or 0. I choose to play it at 1 because I'm like, oh, what random card can I add to technically add consistency? I thought it desires. Because desires, at the end of the day, I know you get scared and say like, oh, banish this neg 10, and then you banish all your rays and blah, blah, blah. But the odds of that happening are extremely, extremely low. Obviously, don't just randomly activate desires at the first onset. Try to search for your things first and then desires. And I'm a risky boy. I don't care if my rose gets banished, right? It's whatever. Just don't worry about it. I should probably play 2 rose, but I can't find, well, not I can't find, but I don't have a second quarter century rose. I should probably get one, but I think 1 YOLO desires is always good because, you know, it wins games more than it loses. So that's my reasoning for it. Play 1 desires. You can probably cut this if you're a little wussy. And then 1 infinite imperm, because you can set it with the thrust, right? And this is a random negate card. It's always good to have something like this. This can be, I know there's like other cards I've seen, like the Black Goat Laughs or whatever, but I don't have it, so this is what I got. This is what we gotta work with, gang. That's all I got. That's all I got. Cardboard's expensive. Cardboard is extremely expensive, especially with Magic TCG. Ugh, Magic. You guys see the Final Fantasy stuff? That's crazy. All those scalper prices. But anyways, it's not a Magic video. Maybe you want to see that. Who knows? Let me know. Of course, now extra deck. Do your red ray. Self-explanatory. Always very good. Always play 3. Always play 3. Right? 2 Blu-ray. That's what I play. Now, with the new Lemon's Gate, you can maybe cut it to 1, because Lemon's Gate, remember, if you activate it, you're going to recycle the cards in your graveyards anyway. So, more than likely, if you activate Lemon's Gate and like Linkage and blah, 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 you're probably going to have a Shizuku Blu-ray in your graveyard, and you can recycle that. So, really, you probably just need 1, but I just choose to play 2 just in case, because of like, you know, your 3rd turn, 4th turn, etc. You might want to end on Shizuku so you can search like your other Scratch Record card that's not in rotation. So that's why I play 2. But again, you'll probably cut it to 1. We'll see. And then by that logic, 2 Green Ray. Obviously, when Camilia comes out, you're probably going to cut one of these because it kind of fulfills the same purpose. But this is to send, like, you know, whatever you're missing, like your Ray, your Rose, even Cyanos, right? So you can banish that, summon the Rosie O'Donnell. Then since you have 2 Sky Striker aces, you can link up into Sky Striker Ace 0, blah, blah, blah. A lot of endless potential with this card. So that's why I play 2. Finally, new card, Area Sky Striker Ace 0, not Area 0, Ace 0. What does it do? What does it do indeed? So 2 Sky Striker Ace monsters. Remember, you can't summon this with good old Cyanos, so you need a Ray, a Rose, and you can also cheat it out with Linkage and Horny Drones and stuff like that. But basically, it cannot be used as link material, so you're not going to end up, you can't like go from this to, you know, Blu-ray or something like that. So that's why Linkage is important, kind of. And then if this card is special summon, you can add a Sky Striker spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So add Engage, obviously, or whatever you're missing. More than likely Engage, of course, unless you're in the draw. And then quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace, Rose, and Ray from your deck and or graveyard. Then you can store 1 card on the field, so it's an extra interaction, another pop, right? So basically what you would do is that you would, you know, tribute this card, quick effect, and then go into Ray and Rosie O'Donnell. You have Lemming's Gate, hopefully in your graveyard. You banish that, link summon, blah, 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 all that fun stuff, right? So awesome, awesome card. Is it what Sky Striker needed? Of course, everything is what Sky Striker needs, because more interaction, more things to do against your opponent is always a good thing, especially with control deck. That's what I always say. So very good. Probably play 2, because 1 will be engraved. You want to have another one in rotation. I know you can recycle shenanigans with Lemming's Gate and blah, 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 but 2 is probably the ideal ratio, right? 3 is too much. Don't play 3. And then finally, you know, the 1-0s, right? 1 Yellow Ray, 1 Ziki Wiki. This can possibly become 2, because remember, with Lemming's Gate, you can also link summon into this, and this is another interaction, right? So like banish another monster, all that stuff. We want interactions. By that logic, also, you know, Azalea, she's another pop. And then finally, these are the 3 cards where you can do whatever you want. I just choose to play Little Knight, Sky Crisis, right? And then Access Skill Talker. You could play like the Link 3 Temperaments, right? But at the same time, I think the odds of me going into it is very low anyways, because we're going to end on either like a blue Ray or, you know, worst case scenario, I guess, a good old, you know, Sky Striker Ace 0 or something like that. But at the end of the day, I don't think you need Temperance. I think this extra deck is pretty okay, aside from like some couple of cuts here and there. So that's, you know, extra deck, main deck. What else do you got, Kevin? What else do you got? Let's talk about my work in progress side deck. Siding is always dependent on where you live and what you play against in your locals and or tournaments. But for now, we got 3. Nibiru, right? Where's the third one? Unless I only have 2. JK, I only have 2. Okay, then we play 3 draw, right? Because that's, I guess, the format defining card. Can't search. No searching, you basically lose the game, right? Artifact Lancia, of course, to banish against, prevent banishes against, I guess, Malice, right? Malice is one of the things. Like I said, they do stuff to get banished, right? Let me know. Back row removal, so Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, fairly self-explanatory if you go second, right? Judgment, I guess, and then the D barrier for, I think, Ryziel's Exceed, right? Something like that. Mitsurugi, let me know. I don't know. This is a one-off, you can search off the thrust, right? And if you draw it, that's great. But for the most part, for this deck, we want to go first. And then we also understand that since Sky Striker is inherently like pretty toolboxy, that you're not going to be, you won't feel bad anyways if you lose the diver. Like, we have a good chance of going second with all the cards we have. We can break boards, etc., etc. But overall, I think this is what I'm going with for this meta. Please let me know in the comments down below. I always love to hear what you guys have to say. I truly appreciate it, especially since, you know, I've been kind of just like off the grid for a long time. But at the end of the day, Ray is the reason why I keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Every once in a while, just once I thought I was out, but they keep bringing me back in. But yes, so Ray, new support. Hopefully Camilia comes out. Hopefully Ray and Sky Striker can do something this meta. We'll see. I'll definitely try my best. But thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. Well, you don't have to sub. You know, yeah. Just comment down below what you're playing in Sky Striker, if you're playing Sky Striker at all. See you guys around. Bye-bye.